Hello, everyone, and welcome back to AJHD. I'm your host, AJ, and we have a packed podcast today. We have so much to talk about because I haven't recorded the podcast in a while. I'm sorry about that, but I'm back. So today, we have a ton to talk about. First off, just got out of the shower, and that's why my hair is wet. I'm not overall greasy or sweaty. Let's just jump right into it. First off, my roommates and I have been planning this Christmas party, okay? And we thought it'd be a really funny idea if we made it like a formal event. So everyone that showed up to my Christmas party, our Christmas party, whenever I'm referring to my Christmas party, I'm referring to my roommates and I. It's not just my party. Whenever people showed up to my party, they were wearing like at least a collared shirt. It was very formal and it was a ton of fun. But that's not the funny part of the entire party. The funny part of the party is when we were talking about planning this party out, we were like, what type of food should we have, like to serve, blah, blah, blah. It was supposed to be like a formal dinner party. And my roommate, Mitch, he goes, how funny would it be if we just have a ton of mashed potatoes? And we're like, yeah, that'd be really funny. So I was telling some of my friends that I had invited to the party, and they were like, you won't have that many mashed potatoes, like blah, 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 blah. I don't even know how that came up in conversation. I just feel like sometimes when you're in a group of people, you just start arguing about stuff for no reason because you have nothing better to talk about. And that was one of those situations where they're like, we're going to out-eat the mashed potatoes. And I put my hair on the line. I said, oh, really? You think you can out-eat these mashed potatoes? I said, I will shave my head if you guys finish the mashed potatoes at the party, which obviously you guys see my beautiful hair is still here because we went shopping and we got 90 pounds of potatoes. We went to Costco and we filled up the cart with potatoes. It was only $36. Then we went back that night, sheared all it's definitely still not the right word. We sheared all those potatoes, and then we, the next day, sanitized them, boiled them, and made 90 pounds of mashed potatoes. And let me just tell you, if you are thinking about making X amount of potatoes, it is definitely worth the joke, but it is a ton of work. My roommates and I probably spent like 7 hours making mashed potatoes, just straight mashed potatoes. And that wasn't all that we served at the party. We also served spaghetti, we also served beans, we also served chili. We served a bunch of stuff, and it was a ton of fun. And it was a formal Christmas party. A lot of people showed up, and we just had a blast. And we had so many mashed potatoes, guys, so many. Other than that, other exciting news that's been going on, it was my birthday. Yeah, I'm 20 now, guys. How insane is that? I feel crazy about it. I feel so weird being 20 because I feel like I'm such a kid. I am such a kid, and I feel like oftentimes people want to be older, or people want to be, or people don't care about their birthdays or whatever. I am someone who desperately cares about my birthday. I love it so much because I love attention, and I'm 20, guys, and I feel so young still. I feel like a kid, and I never want to not be a kid. I can't even fathom not being a kid. So I'm a kid. Even though I'm 20, I'm just a 20-year-old. I'm just a kid. And I feel good. I do feel grown up in a sense, and I know that's like conflicting messages, but I feel like a mature kid. That's just how I feel. And I had an amazing birthday, and I had what I love about birthdays is not only like the birthday messages, but and the attention that you get, but also like it's a reflection on your time. And 20 is the second decade of my life, which means that I need to reflect on the first decade kind of in a way. And that's what I did. I did that, and I reflect on the first decade. In my Instagram, on my Instagram, I kind of wrote up a paragraph about it. If you want to see it, go to AJ Monster 101 on Instagram. And I'm not going to rehash everything, but I have made giant leaps through the last decade. Like I grew 1.5 feet. I got a 6-pack. I hit one of the highest ranks. Not one of the highest ranks. I hit top 1% in the video game I play, and that's what I play for the esports team at my college. But I I started off at literally in the top 100%. Like I was considered one of the worst players in the game, and now I'm considered not one of the best by any means, but I'm very good at the game, and it's just so crazy. Other than that, like, I've just grown into myself. Like I've just become so much in the last 10 years. And it's kind of crazy to think back on the last decade. And I kind of did that yesterday. And I just had a ton of reflection. And that's kind of why I haven't been posting as much, because the party and also because of my birthday. Because I didn't really want to do anything other than reflect and hang out with people. And I got so much free food. I'm going to open a window real quick because it's hot in here. Also, the temperature has been amazing lately. Like, for some reason, it was really warm this week, and I've been able to go outside in a sweatshirt. When the previous week, it was like 20 degrees. Like, I'm so chilly. But, oh my God, I am so happy because it's giving me such March vibes, and I love the spring. I absolutely adore the spring. I adore the spring because of the same reason I hate fall. I like to open this window before I keep continuing this part. So I hate fall because fall is the time where kind of signifies that everything's dying and that it's about to be winter and it's about to be cold and everything's going to be dead, such as the trees and all that. And it's just really sad. And then everyone starts wearing flannel, and I went on that long rant last podcast, and we're not going to rehash it, but that's another reason that it's just so boring. Also, if you hear the ambient noise from the outdoors, enjoy it. This is what a city sounds like. Other than that, spring is amazing because it's the opposite. Everything's growing, everything's becoming great, and it's amazing. And I love that. And sorry, I get distracted so easily. I'm looking over at the audio, make sure that like the ambient city noise isn't too bad, but I don't think it is. Anyways, back to my original point before the weather. I was talking about reflection, becoming who I am. I kind of lost my train of thought. Guys, I taught myself how to play guitar in the last 2 years. Isn't that crazy? Anyways, I'm going to try not to jump around so much this podcast because I kind of want to make a big main point every podcast where you guys can kind of relate and hear about it. And today I want to talk about procrastination. I have been such a culprit of procrastination throughout my entire life. And one of the biggest problems with it is the fact that I have finally figured out why I procrastinate, and it's because I'm nervous that I'm not going to be able to get something done. Or not that I'm nervous I'm not going to be able to get something done. It's just I'm nervous that the initial step is going to be so difficult. And I think I do this in life. I do this with big things. I do this with small things. I do it with so much. But for example, I have 2 labs due tonight. No, they're not due tonight. I don't know what I'm saying. They're due tomorrow night. And I haven't really started them much yet. And I'm just nervous they're going to be hard. And they're coding labs, and I just have to code. And I know I can do it, and I know I'm going to be able to get it done. But throughout the day-to-day, I'm just like, I'm kind of like dreading those things. Like, I haven't started working on them at all yet. And instead, I'm doing all this stuff beforehand just so I can still feel active and not lazy, but still able to procrastinate. I worked out, I'm doing the podcast, I'm doing all that, which are things I should be doing. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing that I'm doing them. But I know that I'm doing them in the order I'm doing them because of the assignments I have. And I'm just, I do this for so much. It's like, guys, how do you get over your procrastination? How? It's difficult. I think you have to understand that the first step is the hardest. And when you finally take that step, you kind of make it easy for the rest of the process to follow. So really, if you just commit to making the second step harder, then you're fine. But is that just making a first step? Does that sound dumb? Like, I feel like tonight, before I go to sleep, I'm going to try to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning tomorrow and start working on the labs at 6. And which means I have to go to bed at 9, and it is currently, for those of you wondering, 8:30 at night. It's another night podcast. So now I'm sitting here going, okay, so I'm going to record this podcast, and I want to get started on the labs because I think the first step's the hardest, and then I can just take a break. After I start, I just instantly take a break and go to sleep. Then when I wake up tomorrow, I start working on the labs, and hopefully I'll be able to get it done. And then always when I get into the labs I'm just using the labs as a scenario for the procrastination. Whenever I get into these labs, I'm just like, oh my God, this is so easy. I know how to do this. Or not that it's easy, but oh my God, I know how to do this. Or, oh, I know how to work through that and all this. And it's like, oh my God, why was I procrastinating in the first place? I feel like I do this so much in my life, like the podcast. I've been thinking about the podcast since last year, thinking about doing it, and I'm just like, oh, I should do a podcast. Oh, but the podcast might be difficult, blah, blah, blah. And you just mull it over in your head to the point where you don't do it anymore. This was another thing in my birthday Instagram post. I have read over 5,000 pages from self-help books since I was 10, my last decade. And it is so amazing to me, all the things that you can learn from reading. And it sounds so basic and so obvious. I'm fiddling with a pen in my is that fidgeting? I don't know what fiddling means. Fiddling is like on the roof, right? Anyways, there's a quote from one of my self-help books that I read, that I have read, and it is, an ounce of effort is worth a pound of thinking, of thought. And it's really, it is so true. When you just do things, you just feel so good in the moment. I don't know why it is that our brains naturally try to trick us into staying so like sedentary. I feel like, I don't understand it, but so many people relate to it, and there's people that are able to fight it, and I'm one of those people. If you ask my friends or my family, they will tell you I'm like the most motivated person ever. I'm not trying to sound egotistical. I'm just trying to say other people perceive me as so motivated and so like a getter done, but even in my own brain, I'm like, oh my God, I'm being so lazy. I'm procrastinating so much, and I am in some regards because I know my capabilities. Many people don't know their capabilities, so then they just seem like they're not being lazy because they're fulfilling their capabilities, when really everyone's capabilities are way, way, way higher than they would ever be able to imagine, including me. So I think that's part of it. I think that's a big part of it. I was just sitting there for like 10 seconds not knowing what to talk about, even though I wrote out notes, and I look at my notes. There was another thing that I needed to talk about. The bean. Oh my God, look at my, did you guys see that? In the video watchers just saw like a burst of wind come into my room. Hopefully that's not on the mic, and it kind of like hits my drapes in the back. Anyways, it was the night before I turned 20. I'm still a teenager, and my roommates and I are sitting around going, what can we do on my last night of being a teenager? Kind of like a celebration. And it was like, oh, what's something like a teenager would do that's like random and kind of like angst and like kind of like rebellious in a way? And we're just like, what if we go to the Bean? And for those of you who don't know what the Bean is like a giant metal bean in Chicago. It's called the Bean. And if you don't think it's called the Bean, you're just hypnotized. You are, wake up, sheeple. Wake up. You need to wake up because it is called the Bean and it looks like a bean. So anyways, we go to the Bean, and on our way to the Bean, there's a Culver's. And if you guys don't have Culver's where you're at, it's pretty much like a really good fast food place that started in Wisconsin. And my roommate / friend Mitch is like, how funny would it be if we go through the driveway backwards? So he pulls his car in reverse. I order, because I'm in the passenger seat. I order at the little like monitor, and we pull through the driveway backwards. And let me tell you, this is the most unamused I have seen a Culver's employee. We reverse through the drive-through, and the lady looks at us at the window, and she's just like, so you guys are really doing this? And we are like, yeah. And we are like nodding our head, and she looks at us, and I go, we're going to the Bean. And she just goes, okay. And then she just hands us our food and drinks, and it was so funny. It was hilarious. So we finish. We actually had to do a wide turn in the drive-through and like get out of there. It was really funny. We went to the Bean. The Bean was closed. We tried to talk to a security guard, and I'm like, it's my birthday. We drove all the way here. Like, can we please see the Bean? And he was like, it's your birthday? And I was like, yeah, it's my birthday. I can prove it. I have my ID. And he's like, nah, man, I can't let you in. Which, fair enough. Can't let everyone in, especially when it's closed. But we saw the Bean, and I brought a can of beans to the Bean. And I'll probably post on my Instagram about it. So if you guys want to see that photo, go to my Instagram, Agent Monster 101. I keep plugging it this podcast, so go to it. Go check it out. Other than that, I had something else I wanted to say about my birthday. Starbucks. You guys know how much I love free food. You guys also know how obsessed I am with customer service. And thirdly, you know I am a fanatic when it comes to Starbucks. I walk into Starbucks on my birthday, and all the employees are like, AJ, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like feeling good because they all know me. I go there so often that they know me and they know my drink. The lady behind the counter, she starts ordering my drink, like putting it in the system, and then she's like, do you want a breakfast sandwich? We have double smoked bacons. And she knows that I love double smoked bacon. So I get my regular, except for I had a free drink because it was my birthday, so I added a shot of an espresso. Because anytime you get a drink, you can add anything you want. It just might cost more, but if you have a free drink, the cost doesn't matter. So I add an extra shot of espresso. I have 4 shots of espresso in my coffee, and I have my breakfast sandwich, and it was all free because it was my birthday, and I also had a free drink. And then the Starbucks employees sang me happy birthday, and they wrote happy birthday all over my stuff, and it was a great experience. It was really fun and funny. Other than that, life's been pretty chill. It's just been a lot of my weekend was just cleaning, prepping, buying for the party, having a fun party, making mashed potatoes. I never want to make another mashed potato again, but I probably will, so that's fine. What else? Had my birthday. It was great. Went to the Bean. I've had action-packed times. Been doing a lot of reading, a lot of schoolwork. And so last week of school before break, we have 2 weeks off for Christmas or holidays, and it's been really busy. I've been reading my book. I'm reading a book called How to Be a Badass and Making Money. It's all about dealing with your thoughts about money and learning how to make a lot of money. And one of the concepts in the book is talking about taking risks and being willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I feel like I'm doing that a bit with this podcast, where I'm putting myself into an uncomfortable situation where I know my friends or family or random people are going to see the podcast and view me. And I don't think it's a final product where I'm not necessarily proud of this yet, because I know that it has potential to be so much better. And I'm not saying it's like if you're doing a sport for the first time and you keep missing the goal when you're playing soccer. It's like, you know that eventually you're going to be able to hit that goal, but at the moment you're struggling. So then you're like, sorry, someone on the street was doing something really weird, so I saw them and that distracted me. But right now I just feel like this podcast is good. I just feel like it can be so much better. So having people I know listen to it is kind of an insecurity of mine, and I don't know why. Anyways, relating back to the book, it talks about being uncomfortable and surrendering yourself to the universe. There is something called the universe, okay? And some people tie it into religion. Some people just have it as a thought. Some people don't believe in it, but I do. And here's what you need to know. I've read multiple books about this, and my current book also talks about it. But basically, there's a universe, okay? And you can put thoughts out into the universe, from your brain out into the universe. And the universe will listen to those thoughts, and you can put action towards those thoughts to create a product or create anything you want, create a feeling, create anything. And basically the concept is you can put action to any thought you put in the universe and have it become real. So if I put a thought into the universe that, oh my God, I really want a coffee, tomorrow I can put the action in by going to the coffee shop, paying the money, and getting a coffee. That thought can become a reality. My thought that I want to become a reality is that I want to be famous on social media and making money from it and doing stuff like that. I put that thought in the universe, and I have to put action into it. And I also want to make money from that and be self-sustaining on that. So I'm also putting that thought into the universe. And there's so much that goes into it, and these books are very complex, not because of the reading style, but because of the things that are talked about within it. It's difficult to wrap your head around it sometimes, because you're like, what? But I know that I'm now looking for these uncomfortable situations, or not uncomfortable situations where it's like weird, but like out of my comfort zone. That's a good way to put it. And the book that I'm currently reading talks about once you begin looking for these situations, they will appear. And basically, I'm watching this Casey Neistat YouTube video. And if you don't know who Casey Neistat is, look him up. He's an insanely good YouTuber, and he's really good with cinematography and filmmaking. And I watch his video, and he hasn't done a video in like 7 months. He randomly makes a video last week. I click on the video, And it's all about this new like master class that he's doing. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, this is a sign from the universe, because I'm starting to make videos. I want to make videos. I'm doing this podcast. And how cool would it be if I really learn how to make a video on like my main YouTube channel and then have viewers funnel into the podcast, and if I'm able to improve the podcast and kind of build an empire off that. So yeah, that's just a fun fact. I just randomly ran into this masterclass that I'm going to purchase and going to go through and hopefully make some really awesome stuff. And I just think it's the universe listening to my order. Not like the book talks about putting an order as if you're at a restaurant. My order is I want to be famous and rich and make people happy and inspire others. So this is the start of that order. Guys, I hope you had a great day today. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Sorry that the podcasts have been intermittent. I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. The song recommendation for the day is, I don't know, we'll just do another Green Day song, When I Come Around, and I'm gonna play it right now for you. And if it's too loud, oh well, it's Green Day. I just learned how to play this on guitar, so this is pretty awesome. And yeah, this is how the podcast is gonna end. We have intro and outro music coming soon, probably in the next like 10 podcasts. And yeah, I'm going to see the new Spider-Man movie this weekend, but I'll talk about that in the next podcast. It's hitting that point. Go and crush your days. Crush it. Now I have to get like a weird face that like people click on the video. There we go. That should be good enough. Okay. This is When I Come Around by Green Day for like 2 seconds. And have a great day, guys. Peace. When I come around. I have to do these labs now. I will see you guys later. Bye.